Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have an amazing English story that will help you improve your listening, learn new words, and practice English. So grab your headphones, relax, and let's dive in. There are places in this world where silence feels alive, where the air itself seems to remember every step, every whisper, every soul that once passed through. Machu Picchu is one of those places. A city built between the sky and the earth, hidden, fragile, eternal, not made for conquest or glory but for connection. They call it the lost city of the Incas, but maybe it was never lost, maybe it was waiting for the world to slow down enough to listen. High in the Andes, wrapped in mist and wind, Machu Picchu doesn't shout its story, it breathes it. The stones don't speak in words. They hum softly like an old memory trapped between the mountains. 500 years ago, this place was alive, not in the way we think of cities, no noise, no markets, no smoke, but alive with purpose. Every wall was built by hand, every stone carved with precision and patience. They didn't have iron or wheels or modern tools. They had time and belief. The Incas believed that the mountains were gods, that the rivers were veins of the earth. And that to live well, one had to live in harmony with the world, not above it. Machu Picchu wasn't a fortress. It wasn't a palace. It was a sanctuary, a place where heaven touched the soil, and people came to remember what it meant to exist. And then silence. The city was abandoned. No battle, no destruction, just departure. For centuries, it slept beneath clouds and vines, forgotten by the world that kept moving forward. Rain washed its steps. Roots split its walls. And time, patient, merciless time, tried to erase it. But some things are too sacred to disappear. In 1911, when Hiram Bingham stumbled upon it, guided by local farmers, he thought he had discovered something new. In truth, he had only woken something ancient, a dream that had been sleeping for 400 years. Since then, millions have walked those same terraces. They take photos, they smile, they breathe the thin, holy air. But few stop long enough to feel what the place is trying to say, because Machu Picchu isn't just ruins, it's a mirror. It reflects not what the Incas were, but what we have lost. They built with humility, we build with haste. They saw time as a circle, we see it as a race. Look closely at the stones, they fit perfectly together without mortar. No gaps, no mistakes. Every angle, every cut measured not by machine, but by intuition, by the rhythm of the hands that placed them. They didn't force the mountain to obey. They listened to it. That's the secret of Machu Picchu. It isn't about architecture. It's about balance between human will and nature's silence. When you stand there surrounded by clouds that move like ghosts, you can feel the pulse of something older than history. It's not loud. It's not proud. It's gentle. A reminder that greatness doesn't always roar sometimes, it just endures. And yet beneath the beauty there's tragedy, a quiet sorrow, because the same humanity that created this wonder also forgot it. It took centuries for the world to notice again, and when it did, it came with cameras, tickets, and noise. The stones that once held prayers now hold footsteps. The terraces that fed a sacred city now feed curiosity. And maybe, somewhere in that transformation, the spirit of the place watches, patient, forgiving, but distant. Because Machu Picchu has seen it all. Empires rise and fall, faith lost and found, men who build and men who destroy. It stands still, not as a monument to perfection, but as a survivor, a message written in stone saying, "You will pass, I will remain." Sometimes when the fog rolls in, the world disappears. You stand alone on a narrow path, surrounded by silence, and it feels as if you've stepped outside of time itself. The wind moves through the ruins, soft and cold, and for a moment you understand. You understand why they built it here, why they reached for the sky, not with greed, but with reverence, why they chose isolation over power. Because they weren't trying to conquer the world, they were trying to understand it, and maybe that's the part of the story we keep forgetting. That progress without peace isn't progress at all. That wisdom isn't found in speed, but in stillness. Machu Picchu isn't a relic, it's a teacher. Every stone, every stair, every blade of grass tells you the same thing. Slow down. Listen. The world is speaking, and it's been speaking far longer than you've been alive. When you walk down those ancient steps, you realize how small you are and how beautiful that smallness is. You are not the center. You are part of something vast, intricate, and alive. The people who built this city didn't leave behind wealth or power. They left behind silence. A silence that humbles you, that strips away everything unnecessary until only truth remains. And maybe that's why, even now, after centuries of storms, wars, and footsteps, Machu Picchu still stands, because it was never built to last in stone. It was built to last in spirit. The Incas knew something we've forgotten, that the earth doesn't belong to us. We belong to it. So the next time you see a photo of Machu Picchu, look past the clouds in the perfect postcard view. Look deeper. There's a story hidden there, not about kings or empires, but about endurance, about the quiet power of harmony, about how even in the most fragile places, life finds a way to hold on. And maybe somewhere inside that mist, you'll find a reflection of yourself lost, searching, waiting to remember. Because in the end, Machu Picchu isn't just a city in the mountains. It's a question, a whisper from the past asking,